which sounds really obvious, but I think it can easily apply to all of us. And this is also what I usually discuss with my clients too, is that sleep needs to become a priority. Like, you really can't do the workload that you need to do and be able to authentically hold space and be able to do all the things if you're exhausted all the time. So I really would like everyone to consider how they can get better sleep. And usually what I suggest to people is get blackout curtains so you don't have any extra light going on. Do not do computer stuff or phone stuff with the full bright light on before you sleep. You know, do like a dimmer or do like the red light or whatever, so that you don't stimulate your pituitary to not be able to sleep or to be wakeful at 3 a.m. Really kind of, if you're one of those people who needs like a weighted blanket and a really cold room and like whatever the thing is, really make it a priority so that your quality of sleep is actually, when you're sleeping and you're not ruminating for hours on end, which is sort of like in yoga, it's called the chitta vritti, which is just like your mind doesn't stop, and you can't seem to stop it no matter how much you try. And then, so one technique is you just kind of let it go without judging what comes up. But it's so overactive. It's so overactive at night that you can't shut it off. So that's that's the first thing that I want to just kind of put out there. Is anybody sleeping at all? Getting sleep? You're sleeping. Okay.
I sleep.
Okay, great. Or we're just so exhausted that we were like all passing out and like
8 hours.
All right. Good.
Come on.
Okay. Good. You guys are ahead of it then.
I do not sleep well. I will admit that.
Yeah. I think that adrenal fatigue and burnout is a real thing. And so what happens is when we're sort of the stress or the subconscious mind that's sort of always pressing on us in the back of our minds with everything that we have to do, that pressure can be so great. And it's really, we kind of have to find a way to be able to work with it. But adrenal burnout is something that I see a lot. So it's just another word for stress, right? Like and then in a lot of like the ancient traditions, this is considered a time of great change. Like a lot of the calendars kind of merge together, like the ancient Mayan and Vedic. Like right now, this was like a huge deal that there's this giant planetary shift in the way that we behave towards our fellow humans. And what that looks like is this. It looks like we're doing really good, sort of out-of-the-box radical work to be inclusive and loving and battling demons and trying to take care of our families in ways that also really haven't been as much of a priority, I think, even maybe in past decades, just culturally, what we're asked to do, especially as mothers. So there's that. And that creates a lot of, with the adrenal stress, I feel like what happens is we can really easily fall into chronic low-level depression or chronic low-level anxiety, which after a while, it just takes a toll on the body. And a lot of people that I know and a lot of my clients they actually experience panic, out of nowhere kind of panic, because when your nervous system can't hold everything we need to hold, it just gets burned out. And so it's sort of like and then like, I don't really feel this way on a day-to-day basis. Why am I all of a sudden feeling so depressed or so agitated or so fearful or panicked? And it's because we don't have the time and the space in general to listen to our bodies and to call our soul in and to honor and devote to what we're here to do. And it just seems to be a bigger deal for people who are the spiritual leaders. it's just a bigger deal. It's just seems to be harder. I don't really know why, but I think it's in some way it's so that we can lead others. But in a lot of ways, I do feel like that unfairness of like, oh, this isn't really what like it's supposed to look like, right? Like we're really holding it down. Like we should be able to do what we have to do without being stopped by feelings of exhaustion or panic or again like any chronic low-level depression or any stuff that comes up around illness or body ache or anything that's really hard on the body. And it's something to then by that time it's sort of usually a little late in the game because you're broke your leg and you're trying to run to get to class and now you're laid up. You can't really do what you would normally do. And so then what do? Then you're sort of you're forced to kind of feel all the feels. And I think usually because of our positions we don't feel like we have the right? Because we understand the plight of the world. And so it kind of we feel like our needs are insignificant. And again, what happens is that we kind of don't attend to what needs to be attended to, and when you don't attend to what needs to be attended to, it gets bigger. And so it's really important to be able to find the time and space to devote to what's kind of up for you. And I feel like we're all really good at authentic relating. Like I feel like this community is really sort of supportive and masterful at that. But I think the piece that's missing is that we don't know how to do self-care. I love the article you posted, Chelsea May, on the wellness industry. Okay, and I work in wellness, and it's such a sort of, what you hear a lot in wellness is that you have to do this, and you have to do that, and your body's really broken, and you have to eat this, and this is, do this, and it's just, even as someone who works in that industry, I usually tell people, like, chill out, let's just, first, you have to be in your body before anything is going to change. And something that works for one person is not going to work for the other one. And giving, blanket statements, and this is the same for the self-help industry, it goes along with wellness. I think it's awesome. Right? Like we're all supposed to take responsibility for ourselves and our humanness. But what I see a lot of is the self-neglect, right? So then there's like this idea that we're codependent, like that word gets thrown around a little too much for my liking. I just, I can't, I've got to be this independent person, and I've got this brokenness about me that I know, and I got to work on it for the rest of my life. Like that's not, in my opinion, that's not it at all. Okay, that's really far away from who we are. I don't believe that, and I believe everything heals, and I believe that I really don't like the word codependent. And I don't like that we feel like we have to be independent. That's not how we are as humans. Our bodies still need touch, love, our hearts still need connection, deep connection, and not just like every once in a while. Like it's supposed to be like our tribal situations have changed. Our bodies and our souls have not. And so this idea that we can't be codependent on people or look for love it's really unfortunate because I believe that we can be interdependent. We can choose to have healthy systems. I think we all know enough about what's unhealthy, especially all of us here. We've had enough, a lot of us have had enough training in what it's not supposed to look like, especially if you've worked in trauma or been involved in trauma. So then the question becomes, well, what should it look like? And how should I feel on a day-to-day basis? and how much am I allowing my soul to come through? How much do I need to allow that to happen? Being able to ask